Most men believe women decide to sleep with them because of one lucky moment. A clever line, a perfect touch, or the right date. They're wrong. That decision is made long before the bedroom, or it never happens at all. And when it does, it's not because of your looks, your money, or your charm. It's because your presence made her feel two things at once: safe enough to let go, and excited enough to want to. Machiavelli would say this: a ruler doesn't ask for loyalty. He makes it feel like the subject's own idea. With women, it's the same. Women are not waiting for you to convince them. They're watching, quietly, always, for the man whose presence pulls them in like gravity. The man who could have them, but doesn't need them. The man whose world feels bigger, more alive than theirs, and makes them want to be part of it. In this video, you'll discover the 6 hidden truths about how women secretly decide when to sleep with a man, and use them to become the one she can't resist choosing. Not by chasing, not by begging, but by building tension she can feel in her skin, anticipation she can't ignore, and an atmosphere so magnetic, she never wants to leave it. Watch until the end. Every truth you're about to hear comes straight from a Machiavellian perspective. Miss even one, and you could lose the moment and the woman. Let's dive in. Here's the first truth, and it's the one that immediately separates men she keeps around from men she lets in. She decides when she feels you don't need her decision. Most men think desire is built by making her feel wanted. It's not. It's built when she starts wanting you, more than you seem to want her. When you're with her, she's reading you like a book. Not your words, not your compliments, your state. She's looking for clues. Does he need me to like him? Is he waiting for my validation? Would this interaction collapse if I pulled back? If the answer is yes, you've already lost the frame. Because a man who chases, persuades, or tries to convince a woman to feel something is telling her one thing without saying it. I don't have abundance. I can't afford to lose this moment. And the second she senses that, she stops feeling the pull. Machiavelli would remind you, the one who appears to have the least need for alliance is the one who chooses the terms of it. It's the same here. When you're not chasing, you radiate an energy most men can't fake. The energy of a man who already has options, who already has a life that excites him, who already has women's attention, and doesn't need to lock any of them down. That doesn't mean you act cold. It means you act full of presence, full of playfulness, full of life beyond her. Here's how to recognize when she's at that edge. She'll lean in more. She'll start touching you first. Her eyes will stay on your mouth longer. She'll ask where you are going after this. She'll playfully accuse you of being a player or trouble, and watch how you respond. All of this is her way of testing if you'll break the calm and chase, or if you'll let her keep coming closer. Here's what a masculine man should do in that moment. When you see those signs, don't switch gears into pursuit. Slow the moment down. Let the tension breathe. Answer her curiosity with mystery, not a confession. Give her just enough of your attention to keep her moving forward, but never enough to make her feel like she's won you. Because the second she feels she has you, the game is over. The decision is made in your absence, not your pressure. Here's the second truth, and it's the one Machiavelli would whisper if he were teaching you the art of pulling someone in without them realizing it's happening. She decides when she feels both safe in your presence and acutely aware of the space between you. It's not just comfort. It's comfort with a current running underneath. That subtle electricity when your arm brushes hers as you reach for a glass, or when you sit just close enough that she can feel the heat of your body without touching. It's the kind of moment where her nervous system relaxes, but her senses sharpen. Machiavelli would frame it like this: a leader must make his allies feel secure, yet keep them aware of his power. With a woman, That power isn't loud. It's in the quiet awareness that you could close the gap at any moment, but you don't. Here's how to spot the moment she's ready for that next level. She angles her body toward you without thinking. Her voice softens just slightly, as if speaking only to you. Her laughter flows easier at your remarks, not because they're the funniest she's ever heard, but because she's enjoying the way they feel in the air between you. Here's what a masculine man should do in that moment. Hold her gaze just long enough to make her feel seen, then let it drop slowly, as if you're deciding whether to look again. Let your voice slow down, your tone deepen, and your pauses stretch just a little longer than normal. This combination makes her feel two things at once: grounded in your presence, and on the edge of something she can't quite name. Because when you master this unspoken language, she isn't thinking about whether she wants you. She's feeling it, and that feeling is already pulling her across the line. Here's the third truth, and it's one Machiavelli would smirk about, because most men fail it without even realizing they're being tested. She decides when you can sit in silence and still make her feel more than words ever could. Women are always reading you in the spaces between sentences, not in your stories, not in your jokes, but in what happens when the talking stops. If you rush to fill every pause with nervous chatter, you tell her without saying a word that you fear the stillness. And a man who fears stillness cannot lead her into deeper territory. But if you hold your ground, if you look at her like you already know how this ends, and you're not in a hurry to get there, you create a rare magnetism. It's the same power a king holds when he lets others speak first, forcing them to reveal more than they intended. Machiavelli would put it simply: he who controls the silence controls the outcome. Here's how to recognize the moment she's giving you this test. Her eyes linger on yours without darting away. Her hands fidget with her glass, her jewelry, or a strand of hair. And instead of stepping back, she stays close, as if the air between you is thickening. Here's what a masculine man should do in that moment. Don't break the silence. Let it stretch, just enough to make her feel the weight of it. Then, let a slow smile form, not as if you're trying to charm her, but as if you're amused by something only you know. Make her lean into the pause, not away from it. Because in that pause, she feels herself slipping into your frame. And once she's there, the rest is inevitable. Here's the fourth truth, and it's the one that separates the men she follows willingly from the ones she tolerates. She surrenders only when she feels you're leading without needing to push. A masculine man doesn't drag her into his world. He makes his world so intriguing, so charged, that she wants to step into it on her own. Every movement, every change in location, every shift in energy feels casual on the surface, but underneath, it's a deliberate thread pulling her closer. Think of it like a dance. The best dancers don't yank their partner forward. They guide with pressure so subtle it feels like her idea to move at all. Machiavelli would have framed it like this: the most effective influence is the kind that is not perceived as influence at all. Here's how to recognize the moment she's following your lead. She mirrors your body language without thinking. When you move, she moves, without hesitation or resistance. She accepts a change of seat, a walk to another room, or a new environment as if it were the most natural thing in the world. And without noticing, she's standing or sitting closer than before. Here's what a masculine man should do in that moment. Close the space, but not all at once. Sit just a little nearer than before. Lean in slightly when you speak, letting your voice drop in volume, forcing her to lean in too. Then, pull back, just enough to make her miss the proximity. It's this rhythm of approach and retreat that creates a craving. Every step closer feels earned. Every inch between you makes her want to close it herself. And when she's the one leaning in, that's when you know you're no longer chasing. You're drawing her in without ever having to pull. Here's the fifth truth, and it's the one that locks you in her mind as different. The moment she believes she's the one who decided to take things further, you've already won. A truly magnetic man never forces an outcome. He builds the environment, plants the seeds, and lets her feel as if she's the one watering them. By the time she acts, it feels spontaneous, even though you shaped every condition for that decision to exist. Machiavelli would whisper, "The most complete victory is the one where your opponent believes they acted entirely on their own." Here's how to notice when she thinks it's her idea. She starts initiating small touches, brushing your arm, resting her hand on your leg, adjusting something on your clothes. She suggests prolonging the night, a drink somewhere else, a walk, just a few more minutes together. Her tone changes. She moves from casual conversation to more intimate, almost secretive exchanges. She starts hinting at private spaces, yours or hers, as if it were a shared thought. Here's what a masculine man should do in that moment. Accept her lead without acting surprised, as if this was always the natural flow of the night. Let her speak the invitation, but subtly control the pace. If she touches you, don't overreact. Let the touch linger, then match it slowly. If she suggests going somewhere private, move with calm certainty, like you've already been there together in your mind. This is where many men ruin everything by celebrating too soon. They get loud, they rush, they make it about the goal. A man who understands true desire doesn't speed it up, he deepens it. Every step she takes, you're still the guide. But in her mind, she's the one leading. And when she believes it's hers to give, not yours to take, that's when she gives more freely, more fully, and with the kind of abandon she'll only ever feel once she thinks it was her choice. And now, the final truth, and it's the one that separates the forgettable from the unforgettable. A woman's deepest desire isn't built in a rush. It's constructed slowly, layer by layer, until the moment she can't hold it back anymore. Most men sabotage themselves because they're in a hurry. They treat attraction like a race, thinking the finish line is the goal. But the man she never forgets knows something different. The longer you can stretch the tension without breaking it, the stronger her pull toward you becomes. Machiavelli would frame it like this: control is not in taking what you want. It is in making them want it so completely, they beg you to take it. Here are the signs your long game is paying off. The air between you changes. It's thicker, slower. Conversations lose their sharp edges and turn into murmurs that hang between glances. She doesn't just look at you. She studies you, as if memorizing your face. Her breathing shifts subtly when you're close, and the pauses between your words feel heavier than the words themselves. Her body language becomes less about movement and more about positioning. Legs angled toward you, her frame leaning in, her skin almost seeking the space where yours could meet. Here's what a masculine man should do when he feels this shift. Don't rush the moment, expand it. If you're sitting, slow your gestures and lower your voice until she leans in to catch every word. If you touch her, make it almost accidental, and then leave a pause long enough for her to notice the absence of your touch. Look at her in a way that tells her you already know, not what she's thinking, but what she's feeling. Alternate between closeness and distance. Step into her space, let her feel the heat of your presence, then retreat just enough to make her want you back in it. Speak less, watch more. Let her own mind start filling the silence with thoughts she won't voice, because that's when they grow stronger. The long game isn't about delaying for the sake of delay. It's about deepening the connection to the point where the first touch feels inevitable, not chosen, not decided, inevitable. When she finally crosses the space between you, it's not just physical. She's crossing a boundary she's been circling in her mind for hours. And because you made her wait, because you made her want that moment. It lands with 10 times the intensity. A woman will forget the man who rushed, but she will remember, for years, the one who made her heart race, her breath catch, and her mind spiral in quiet anticipation. The one who didn't take, but drew her in. The one who didn't need the moment, but owned it when it came. Machiavelli would leave you with this final truth. Power is patience in disguise. The one who can wait without wanting decides when the game ends. If you've made it this far, you already know more than most men will ever understand. You see what they don't. You feel the moments they miss. You can now move in ways that make a woman want more, without her even knowing why. This was never just about looking good or saying the right words. It's about creating a space she doesn't want to leave. A space where she feels safe enough to relax, but close enough to feel something electric. The real power isn't in chasing her answer. It's in building a moment so strong that she feels the answer before she speaks it. It's in the way you breathe, the way you pause, the way you stay close enough to spark heat, but far enough to make her lean in. Now you understand why the man who rushes loses everything. Desire isn't grabbed, it's built. It's in the way her voice softens. It's in the way her eyes hold yours a little longer. It's in that tiny step she takes toward you, without even thinking about it. Machiavelli would say this is the highest form of control, when she feels like every move is hers, but you set the path from the start. From now on, you don't just walk into a room. The air changes when you arrive. You don't just speak to a woman. You draw her into a world she doesn't want to leave. You're no longer the man waiting for permission. You're the man who makes her want to give it without even knowing why. When you own that, every glance becomes an invitation. Every word becomes a pull. And there's no limit to what you can create in your life. If this opened your eyes and you're serious about becoming the man who's in full control of his life, my book is now available. The Undeniable Man, Built to be Chosen. It's a strategic guide for men who want to attract, lead, and dominate in their love life and beyond. Whether you're single or in a relationship, no fluff, no tricks, just pure, powerful strategy that will set you apart from 99% of men, and that you will actually use every day. The link is in the description. And if this video spoke to you, don't just keep your thoughts in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember these lessons, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share it with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.